Okay, we're on page 241. We are going to start by reading the learning targets at the top. Do I have a volunteer to read the learning targets? Thank you, Anna.
Analyze the speech to identify how the speaker shows himself to be a word leader.
How the speaker shows himself to be a world leader. Okay, that's what the focus of our reading is. Next one.
Draw on the information learned during the unit to identify a subject for a bibliography presentation and generate
Potential
research questions.
Good. Draw on information learned during the unit to identify a subject I'm reading the wrong line. Draw on information learned during the unit to identify a subject for a biographical presentation. What's a biographical presentation? We talked about the two forms. Yes.
It's when it's a story about them and they write about themselves.
We're close. I think you're confusing it with autobiography. A biography is when
Somebody writes
about their own life. Biography. Somebody else's life. Yes, a biography is when a person writes about someone else's life. An autobiography is what, Anna, that you just so beautifully said? An autobiography is when a person writes about what?
Write about their own life.
Yes, writes about their own life. Good. And for the last several weeks, today is my last day in your class, and I've loved being here several months, every Wednesday. What have we been reading about basically every single week that I've been here? Nelson Mandela, absolutely. We've read autobiographies about him, have we not? Yes. We have read biographies about him, right?
Yes.
We've read all kinds of things. And now we're going to read a speech that he wrote when he was earning the Nobel Peace Prize. As we do this, we realize that he has spent a lot of time, as we talked about, his 27 years in prison. He has spent a lot of time reflecting on his life, right? And the important events of his life, correct?
Yes.
And how those have shaped his belief. What was the biggest issue at that time that he was facing as a leader? What was the biggest issue? What was it called? It was about the separation of blacks and whites. What's that called? Apartheid. Good, good. Nice job, Jimmy. Nice job. So today, preview. In this activity, you will read a speech by Nelson Mandela and think about how the author reveals himself through his own words. How do we reveal ourselves when we're writing an autobiography? How do we reveal ourselves in the events of our life to others? Or in a biography? How do we pick the important items in a person's life and talk about them? Honestly, fairly, right? Because that's what we try to do with biographies. Setting a purpose for reading. Who would like to read number 1? Shawnee, thank you.
We do not believe that the noble...
No, honey. We're under setting a purpose for the reading right at the top.
As you read the speech, underline words and phrases that reveal that what Mandela will do in the future to help all people.
Good. So let's underline that because it tells us that's what we're going to do. Underline words and phrases that reveal what Mandela will do in the future to help all people. He makes statements in this speech. He sets intentions on what his hopes are and what his expectation is for his country, for his own behavior, and we're going to be looking out for that. Who would like to read the next one under setting a purpose for reading? Or I'm going to start to call you out. Can we lose the hoods? Thank you, thank you. I've asked you to lose the hood, please. Thank you. No, it's not. Okay, next one. Yes, thank you, Anna.
Circle unknown words and phrases. Try to determine the meaning of the words by using context clues, word part, or diction.
Good. Let's circle. Circle unknown words and phrases. This is something we do in each and every one of our readings. We circle these unknown words and phrases when we're in Springboard, don't we? There will be words today that you don't know that we need to contextualize, need to define to give us a clearer picture. Now, Nelson Mandela is from South Africa, as we know. So he's learning English in the traditional English way, in terms of it being he's been colonized by the English. So he's going to use a lot of words that we don't see in our American dialect as regularly as are used in more traditional English dialect. So we're going to need to keep an eye on those. And the last one. Who would like to read Jesse? Right here.
Place
Asterisk.
next to the words and phrases that indicate Mandela's emotions, values, or personality.
Yes, emotions, values, or personality traits. So let's put an asterisk. This is an asterisk. You see this when you're on social media. Maybe you text somebody and you accidentally use the wrong word, so you put an asterisk and then you correct the word. Like, oops, I meant to say this instead of what autocorrect put. You also see it on your phone, right? Next to the pound sign or across from the pound sign. Good, that's an asterisk. Okay, what's the Nobel Peace Prize? Or what's a Nobel Prize? Forget Peace Prize. What's a Nobel Prize? Anybody just heard that word, Nobel Prize? Like, it's a phrase you've heard before. Maybe you don't know what it means. What's a Nobel Prize? What are some of the things? I just gave one away. What are some of the things that you can win a Nobel Prize in? I'm up here, folks. You see these people all day. Jessica, do I need to shut the door so that it's less distracting? If I want? All right, they seem to be gone. We'll see if it happens again. What's a Nobel Prize? Does anybody know? It's an international award that a committee votes on, and they give people for different topics, different studies, international prizes to honor them and to acknowledge their contributions to a particular field of study. So you can get it in physics, you can get it in peace, you can get it in mathematics, literature, chemistry. What else? You can get it in, parts of science, economics, medicine. What do you think of all things that Nelson Mandela might have won a Nobel Peace Prize for? You can't get a Nobel Peace Prize a Nobel Prize, I just gave it away. You can't get a Nobel Prize. He got the Nobel Peace Prize, okay? Because of his work stopping apartheid in South Africa, which we've been talking about, right? So here he is accepting this international prize, very highly regarded for scholars. Malala, we're all familiar with Malala, right? She's won the Nobel Peace Prize. Mother Teresa, I believe, has won the Nobel Peace Prize. People who work towards peace and helping others oftentimes win this award, or who are internationally renowned for their work on behalf of others and promoting a more positive environment. Okay, we're going to read all 8 of these, we're going to call them passages, because they're not all paragraphs. And then we're going to reflect on the back doing some questions. Remember, let's circle those unknown words and phrases. Let's remember to underline what Mandela will do in the future to help people. And then we're going to put our asterisks next to anything that lets us know his emotions, personality traits, or values? Who would like to read the first excerpt? Thank you, Fernando.
We do not believe that the Nobel Peace Prize is intended as a commendation for the matters that have happened in the past.
Good. Next passage. Shawnee.
We hear the voice which say that it is an
Appeal.
appeal from all those throughout the universe who
Sought.
fought and into the system of
Apartheid. Yes. What's condemnation? Or, I'm sorry, commendation. What's commendation? Says it right over there on the right. Yes. So he's saying we do not believe that this Nobel Peace Prize is intended as an award for matters that have happened in the past. He's saying this is not praise for what we've done. He says we hear the voices which say that it is an appeal from all those, the worldwide, but he says the universe, throughout the universe, who sought to end a system of apartheid. This award reflects everybody, not just him, he's saying, but everybody who worked to end apartheid. It's not just for him. Good. Next section, 3. We understand their call, that we have devoted what remains of our lives to the use of our country's unique and painful experience to demonstrate in practice that the normal condition for human existence is democracy, justice, peace, non-racism, non-sexism, prosperity for everyone, a healthy environment, and equality and solidarity among the peoples. What does he mean by that? That's a mouthful. Who can help me summarize? We understand their call. We hear people saying to us, end racism, end segregation, end oppression, he's saying. And they are calling us to devote what remains of our lives to our history of apartheid. And to what? Use this experience to ensure that democracy, justice, peace, non-racism, non-sexism, all these things no longer exist. So is there something we need to underline that may show what Mandela's intention to do in the future to help all people is in this section? Okay, yes, correct. Where is it? What should we be underlining? To demonstrate in practice. Good, I hear you, Angela. To demonstrate in practice that the normal condition for human existence are all of these things. And then he goes on to list what he believes, what many believe, are the fundamental rights of living in a just, peaceful, and equal world. I'm sorry, I'll move this up on the projector. What's solidarity? Circle that. What's solidarity? What'd you say? Nice? Nice people, if I say we need some solidarity in this classroom, what would I mean by that? Everyone be nice? To a certain extent, that we all stand together, united on an issue. We have solidarity. We've all come together to agree on these things. So he's saying when it comes to justice, democracy, peace, non-racism, non-sexism, on, he means we all need to come together in acceptance that these are fundamentals that we all agree on. Okay? Number 4, section 4, snippet 4. Who do I have as a volunteer? Thank you, Jimmy.
Moved by the appeal and inspired by the
May I please go to the nurse's office?
What's wrong?
My stomach is hurting really bad.
Why don't you go to the bathroom and come back?
Okay.
All right, continue. Moved by the appeal and inspired by the eminence. Yeah, let's circle eminence. What does that mean? We'll find out when we're done. Or should we do it now?
now.
Right now.
Eminence. What's eminence? Eminence is an award or praise, right? Eminence, the power you've given us, the authority. Continue. Let's start over from the beginning, rather. I'm sorry.
Moved by the appeal and inspired by the eminence, you have trust of us. When we undertake that we too will do one thing to contribute
Yep.
to the renewal of our world, so that knowledge should in future be despised as the rich of the earth.
Wretched of the earth. What does thrust mean? Let's circle thrust. What does wretched mean from wretched of the earth? Wretched of the earth. If I thrust something on you, I'm like, yeah. What am I doing? I'm like, huh. What's that? I'm kind of tossing it, right? I'm forcing it on her. I'm like, no, you take this. I thrust upon you. Have been given, forced upon. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Forced upon. Yes, something is thrust on you. So he says, moved by the appeal and inspired by the eminence, meaning power or authority that you have thrust on us, you have given to us. This award is given to him. And he sees it as a gasoline or fuel, rather, to continue his work in peace and nonviolence.